Okay, so let's talk about the first episode of season 4. First, we get to know Edgar and Jillian. First impression, Jillian is beautiful. I love her hair. I love curly hair. I wish I had curly hair myself, but I'm stuck with like wavy, you know, very boring. It's not even really wavy. It's like, it's not wavy and it's not straight. It's like somewhere in between. So it's like, just pick one. Jillian is 21, Edgar's 23. So they're both really young. They met in college. They're college sweethearts. And I guess the reason they went down to the island is more because of Jillian. She says that they've been at a crossroads for a few years now. And she wants them to be able to, I guess, explore other people. So they're more secure in what they have. You don't necessarily, like, if you want to explore other people, like, then just be single, but sure. So I guess they got together when she was 17. He's like 2 years older than her. So she mentions that she just doesn't feel comfortable settling down with someone that she got with, I guess, at such a young age. She says she feels like if she had met Edgar when she was 25, that they would probably be married by now. You know, it's the thing where you get with someone when you're like, you know, really young. You don't really have that experience dating a whole bunch of people. You know, you don't really have like that dating life that most people have in your early 20s. And then you kind of settle down late 20s. So I get where she's coming from. I've been in a relationship for like a little over 10 years. And obviously we got together when we were really young as well. And so personally, I care more about my relationship and I'm secure in my relationship to know that I want to be with this person and not pretty much risk it all just because I want to see what it feels like to date other people. And I don't blame her, because when you've only known like one person for most of your adult life, it can be scary to some people to not, you know, to immediately settle down and not ever have that experience. But I think this could, who knows what's going to happen later in the show, but I think if he ends up finding someone else, then this will probably be something that she regrets down the line. And Edgar mentions that he wants her to show him that through this experience that she can grow as a person. Edgar seems like he's kind of taking the back seat. Like he's like, I'm gonna do this because this is what you feel like you need to do and I'm gonna support you as a partner. But at the end of it, I hope we still come out of this stronger. Ash and Anya. So am I saying that right? I'm like, did I write this down wrong? Because there's an H in his name, but I think the H is silent. So I guess Ash, I was a little confused with their arrangement. I guess Anya's from New York and Ash is originally from Santa Fe. And so she moved to New York for him. He mentions that he wants to explore an open relationship. I'll get into the whole Anya thing later because we see things later in the episode. But just him saying that right at the beginning, I was immediately like, does Ash know this? Because it doesn't seem like, from what we saw, that she knows that you're trying to be in an open relationship. Ash, to me, just seems way more into the relationship than Anya. Anya seems like he just honestly wants an out without having the balls to actually cut Ash off, which is like most people, you know, they want to be able to explore, but they also want to have that like special person on the side. And actually Ash and Anya are the oldest out of the bunch, so there's that. Then we have Ashley and LaSalle, and they have actually been together the longest. So Ashley's 26, LaSalle's 27. They've been together 7 years. So right when they hit their 20s, basically, she must have been 19. So she mentions that the biggest issue that they have is that they are dependent on one another. And I guess they're another couple that, because they've been together so long, they haven't been able to actually see other people and go on dates. So they really don't know what life is like without each other. Iris and Luke. I don't know how I feel about Luke. Iris is beautiful. I think she's a little too cute for him. He is, I don't know what it is about him. So they have a lot of trust issues. It seems like she's caught him quite a few times texting other girls, and his excuse is that she's just the life of the party, and I guess she's so good with people and like she gets the attention of a lot of guys that makes him insecure, and that's why I guess he feels the need to reach out to these other women, which to me is such a BS excuse. Like, I 1000% don't believe that. I mean, I believe that she's probably the life of the party and that I'm sure guys like are interested in her, but I don't believe that that's the reason why he texts other women. I think he's just not emotionally there and just wants the attention of other women, and he's just trying to like find the dumbest excuse to excuse his behavior. Another issue in their relationship is his inability to be emotionally vulnerable. That's actually a big one. If you don't feel like you can have that emotional connection with someone, then I would definitely understand why that's a big issue. So after we get introduced to all the couples, they all get to sit down and we get to see all the 12 women and the 12 men that will be living with them. So I'm gonna touch on some of them that I think stood out. The first girl that came out, I didn't get her name, but I know she's a model. She was very pretty, very confident. James comes down. He's like this big muscular guy, and he says something like, if you think I'm a big guy, wait till you see. And then he looks down and he says, my heart, which I don't know, wasn't very original, but I get where he was going with that. And instantly we see, it looks like Ash was kind of interested in him, and we see Anya kind of like tell her, okay, no, you gotta stop. There were a few guys that came down and were kind of like aggressive about it. Some girls too, but I feel like the guys did the most. And it's just like that Italian guy came down, the guy from New York, I don't remember his name, but later on in the episode he tries to talk to Jillian and she's like super not interested, but she's trying to be nice. He just came down already making claims off of some of the women and making it seem like they're more of a like trophy, you know, like to me it seemed like, oh, like they were way too confident and like aggressively confident, already claiming that person. And it's like, you haven't even spoken to this person, you don't even know if you'd even have a chance, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Kristen comes down and she tells us that she's a tarot card reader, which you don't see every day. I've definitely never met someone who does that. I just immediately found her interesting just because of that. She's also really pretty. And she says, one of you coming home with me is definitely in the cards, which was a very good line. We have Liv, and she comes out with roller skates. She actually like skated down the steps. It was only like 3 steps, but I was like, that's impressive, because I don't even know how to skate. If I put on some skates right now and tried to skate just in a straight line, like I'd probably fall. Tommy stood out. He's a firefighter. He looked like a little cutie, but there was something about him that kind of threw me off. Like he was cute, but there was something that I was like, So after everyone comes out, that's when the couples separate. We get to see some of the mingling going on. So we move into Tommy, and he's having a conversation, I think with someone, and Jillian's kind of off on the side. And Tommy mentions how he only works 10 days a month and then spends the rest of his time traveling. So Jillian asks him, well, how do you even have like the money to like stay traveling all the time? And he says basically that firefighters in California make a good amount of money, and that he actually just bought a house, which I was like, do I need to become a firefighter? I'm already in California. Do I need to become a firefighter? Because I'm like, I need to Google this. How well do they get paid? It's expensive. If anyone knows anything about California, they know that it's expensive to live out here. Yes, we get the sun. Well, it depends on what area of California you're in. Something like LA is always going to be sunny, but I'm not from LA, so. Then we see Iris, and she opens up to Andrew about Luke's continuous texting of other girls. And I just found it interesting because it's like one of the first things that she discloses. I mean, he asked, but automatically already putting like your partner's like information out there. I wrote, Anya seems in his element 1000%. There was like a scene where he's just like, you know, standing around. I think his shirt is unbuttoned, or he's not wearing a shirt, I'm not sure. And he's just around hella girls, and he's just looking like he's having the time of his life. So we see Mike and Ashley have a connection. They're sitting at the pool, and I can't remember verbatim what he said to her, but he said something about how like when he first saw her, he just kind of felt her energy and felt like she had been through a lot or something. And their mini conversation that they showed us, just I got really good vibes from him. I don't know if they'll build a connection, but I definitely think he's probably someone that she might be spending a lot of time with. And then we see Ash and James talking, and we already know that she found him kind of cute because when he came out, you know, it was obvious. And she tells him, he kind of asked her, so why did you come down to the island? And she tells him that it was her idea because in her relationship with Anya, she's just seen a lot of red flags. Then she mentions that girls literally flirt with him right in front of her, and that he introduces her as his friend. Like, in what world? Oh my god. Like, I'm just like so sad for her, because everything we see with them, I'm just like, he's not good for her. He does not love her. Like, she just needs to let that go. And I'm hoping that she finds someone on the island, because even with the little bit that we've seen in just the first episode, which we really haven't even seen much, I do not get good vibes from him at all. Like, how do you even justify that, being in a relationship with someone and having them flirt with other women in front of you and then introduce you as a friend? Like, I would lose my shit. I don't even know how you move forward from that. Like, that's just crazy. And she made it sound like it happens a lot. So I don't know, to me, she's settling. And what's interesting is that they're actually one of the oldest, they are the oldest couple there. She's 28, he's 31. Like, dude, you're 31 years old. Like, why are you even acting like this? They haven't been together that long. I think they've been together a year and a half, but that still doesn't excuse his behavior. Like, if you're not trying to be with someone, then just be single. Also see some red flags from Luke. He's already sitting around with the new women and telling them that, yes, Iris should be careful that she brought him here, and that if she cheats, then that's just like, it's game on, basically. If she cheats first, then I guess it justifies all of his cheating. I don't know that she'll cheat on him. It sounds like he's the one that's kind of already gearing up for that. After they get to know the other people, the couples have dinner together. They kind of go around and I guess talk about what they've been feeling so far, especially after meeting the new people. And Ashley talks about the connection that we saw earlier with Mike, and that it was an emotional connection. Just, I think she makes it clear, like, it's just like a friend connection right now, at least. Obviously, her having an emotional connection already with someone that she like literally just met that day, it's gonna make her feel some type of way if that's not something that she's getting from her boyfriend. Iris talks about Luke's like inability to open up and be emotional with her. She said that the whole time that they've been together, that she's only ever seen him cry once, and it wasn't even to her. If you're with someone and they can't be emotionally vulnerable, and then the one time that you see them actually kind of break through and have those emotions, they're actually doing it with someone else, I'd be hurt too. And I'd probably question the relationship as well. I'm not sure what he has going on, but he talks about his broken family and kind of tears up a bit. That was kind of, I guess, some emotion that we saw from him. Ashley and LaSalle, he basically tells her that she's the love of his life. He wants her to become truly independent and figure out who she is. And maybe this time apart, he can find out what she's lacking and vice versa. And she tells him that she feels like that emotion is in him, but that maybe it's gonna take someone else to bring that emotion out of him. I don't know, hopefully he doesn't break her heart. You know, I'm like, because the previews, it kind of seemed like he was saying that he was in love with someone, but it's TV. I'm sure they edit it to look a certain way. And Ash tells Anya that she wants him to figure out if he really wants to be with her, and that all she wants is for him to be happy, whether they are together or not. Gillian tells Edgar that she's scared that none of the guys compare to him, and that I guess being away from him, it almost feels like they're cutting off one of her limbs. I don't know, I got vibes from Jillian that she was also kind of trying to find a way out of her relationship, and maybe I'm wrong. Again, I think it's normal for her to feel like she wants to explore other options, but it's one of those things that you really have to be careful with your actions, because is it worth it, you know, going out and dating all these new people if in the end you're just gonna realize, and this might not happen, right, but if you go, let's say they break up, or she takes a chance with someone else in there and she explores all these other relationships, and then she realizes that she actually wants to be with Edgar, will he want to be with her after that? You know, it's like you're risking your relationship that's clearly a good relationship, all because you feel like you're missing out on something else that might not be what you think it is. You know, it's like the grass isn't really greener on the other side type of thing. And that's it for this recap. I'm going to be doing an episode every week. I guess we'll see how it goes.